Hello, welcome to Abiding Life Studios. I'm Noah Wells. Today, I have with me, of course, the lovely Shay Wells
Hello.
and the handsome Steve Reinhard.
Wow, nobody's ever said that before.
I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, well, I find it very hard to believe you because I'm thinking maybe you're lying here.
That's fair.
He's just trying to butter us up for
Yeah,
some.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on your good side so you don't ask me weird questions.
Well, just so you know, you're always on my good side.
All right, good. Whew. All right, well, I'm going to start, and then you guys ask questions if you want.
Okay.
And the reason I really wanted to do this podcast was kind of bring light to this subject and really for the people out there that struggle with this, as I do, and I don't know if struggle is even the right word, maybe just deal with it.
Mhm.
And really just know that I've been very nervous of doing this. I have all these like lies that keep popping into my head, like if I talk about this subject, that people will reject me. Um, I won't belong anywhere. They'll discredit me. So, you know what? I'm just going to get into it and see what God does with it. Because I'd rather be honest than hide stuff. And I think other people struggle with this, deal with this, whatever you want to, whatever word you want to use. Um, I kind of just want to talk about it. And Shay's been living with me with it forever. So, she understands it. Steve probably have some questions as well. So let's just get right into it. As you can see, I'm kind of beating around the bush because I don't want to actually say it. So I'm going to just say it.
Okay, before you get started though,
Yes.
I'll give you a second to get your thoughts together
Okay.
and breathe. But I do know that over the last few months, you have been more open about this
Yeah.
with a lot of guys in your life. And it's been like most of the guys that you have been open with
Yeah.
say, oh man, I deal with that too. Or man, you
Hmm.
have got to tell this on a podcast or write a book or something because there's something about when we're open and honest that gives other people room to breathe in their life and go, okay, I may not struggle exactly with that, or I might not have that exact thing in my life, but it gives you space to be human and to breathe a little bit. And there's something like you preach about all the time. There's something about bringing it into the light that really does help. And so I will say, since you've been telling this story, since you've been open the last few months,
Hmm.
there have been so many men that have come to you needing support. And
Hmm.
so I'm proud of you for opening that door here on a podcast, as hard as it is. But the response, just to reassure you, the response has already been so positive from the men in your life.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
so
All
you're
right.
good to go.
All right. Let's just jump right into it then after I've said enough about that. So, what I've had for, I believe, most of my life is sex addiction. So I know that's kind of like, to me, when you hear sex addiction, it's like, oh, what does that mean?
Hmm.
What is that? What are they? I don't know. For me, it's just maybe there's just a negative I put on it or
Hmm.
something like people think I'm a gross person or anything like that. But the main light I would kind of want to shine on it is people with sex addiction don't choose it.
Hmm.
It happens with And it usually happens with childhood stuff, childhood trauma, childhood sex, sex abuse.
Hmm.
It happens also, I mean, happens if you're bipolar.
Hmm.
There's like all, or if you're depressed, if you got depression disorder, there's all these other disorders you can have that kind of this slips in. And also with like, I've even read something where if you were a kid and you had a concussion,
Hmm.
well, I've had sex abuse and concussion. So,
Yeah.
maybe I was just meant to have it, who knows? But, I've had it for so long, you hide that, you put it in the dark, you don't want to share it with anybody. Well, what happens when you do that? Well, it just grows, it
Hmm.
just gets out of hand. So for me, I know I've talked before in podcasts that I struggle with porn, but it's not really struggle. It's like for me, that is my way of living.
It's your survival.
Yeah, it's like my survival, right?
Hmm.
So porn to me is not pleasure,
Hmm.
it's survival.
Hmm.
So when I go to it, it is because I'm trying to survive that day.
Hmm.
Or really, and it doesn't even have to be a bad day. It's kind of like breathing air. It's like I need that to be able to keep moving on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's similar to how a lot of us go to food,
Yeah.
where if you're happy, you celebrate with a cupcake,
Yeah.
or if you're sad, you eat some chips, or if you're bored, you eat some, it's like
Yeah.
so many of us have something in our life
Hmm.
that we go to, and sometimes we don't even know it, but we all have these coping things within our life that we go to sometimes all day. A lot of it's our phone at this point.
Yeah.
Social media. How often do you just sit there scrolling to survive? And I mean, people are going to rehab over their phones
Right.
because they're just on their phones. And so for you, porn was just a way of getting through the day. It was just a habit. It was just a get on and scroll
Yeah.
kind of
Ultimate,
deal. Just the
ultimate
things
cope.
people look at social media. And I will say too, just on the topic of sex addiction before you get into your next
Hmm.
topic is, those words can sound so intimidating and so heavy, but I think as a society, we instantly think like, oh, stepping out of your marriage. Oh, it's harming other people. Oh, we're taking this really deep, dark road when really, and I know you're going to get into this, but really, it's a need for acceptance
Hmm.
and a way of coping through a lot of times things that happen, like you said, in your childhood. And so those things kind of manifest into addictions of some sort. It's very common when you have things, especially in your childhood, like sex abuse and whatnot, to then go towards something and cling on to it because you're striving for acceptance in any way possible. And so I just want to clarify before we continue going on that with Noah specifically, we are good, have been good. And it's not like this deep, dark road
Yeah. I've been
of
very open and honest with you
for years. This
yeah.
is not like a new thing. But I think sometimes we go to the worst when really it's just the constant need for acceptance, which really pushed you to porn.
Hmm. Well, yeah. And if you ever Google like sex addiction and stuff, it'll bring up a certain amount of things. Like if you say yes to these, you most likely have it. So,
Mhm.
and one of them I think is I'm really bad with money
Yeah.
because I'm still trying to get that acceptance, or really it's excitement.
Excitement, yeah.
Sex addiction people want excitement.
Hmm.
So anything that's exciting, we're into.
Hmm.
So like for me, for a long time, when we were first married, I
Hmm.
would buy a car like every 6 months.
Oh yeah. I had like 13 cars in the first few years of our
Yeah,
marriage.
exactly. And people might have saw that as, oh, he just enjoys
Buying cars.
buying cars or the hobby of that, or he likes flipping them.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was true. I did like that, but I did that for a reason. I did it because it brought me to a point of excitement, like
Hmm.
looking for the car, looking for the best deal. I was so excited. And then as soon as the deal was done, I'd bring the car home and I'd go down. Ooh,
Hmm.
straight depression, right? And then I'd instantly think, oh, we got to find another car.
Hmm.
So I'd start looking again. And I've done this with a lot of things. I've done it with technology, phones. I research every phone and just
Vacuums. We've been through
vacuums.
a lot
Yeah.
of
Yeah. A lot of
vacuums.
vacuums. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You just kind of grab onto stuff and then
Yeah.
whatever is exciting, it's like, now I'm going to research it. I mean, that's the
Hmm.
thing about YouTube that you can really get sucked into because there's a video for everything. And so if, yeah, like you're saying, vacuums, I mean, just even that, I mean, by then Shay knew that was the sex addiction talking there was just going to, I needed
Hmm.
to constantly go to something to get me excited. And which I think on the flip side of that, I think is hard for the hard for the
Hmm.
spouse because how many of us, and and I know we've had this conversation, Shay, is like how many of us like you hope that you can be my excitement
Mm-hmm.
and you can be the perfect wife where I won't need any of that other stuff.
Yeah.
But then when I go to all that stuff, I'm sure it bums you out. And it's like at certain times, right? I'm
Yeah.
sure it's easy for the enemy to sneak in, or just even your baggage that's come from the
Mhm.
past, come in and say, hey, you're not enough for him.
Well, I think especially as a woman and as a Christian woman, I mean, that's kind of the lie that you're told is if you're a good wife and you're giving your husband what he needs nothing else. And
Yeah.
then you're sitting there going, I'm trying to check all the boxes as a wife. I'm trying to
Hmm.
be good. I'm trying to then also not nag him when he's researching things that we can't afford. But that is in the beginning of our marriage, it was really hard. I kept trying to be better, do better. And then now it's like, you need to stop doing what you're doing. Why are you searching this? But yeah, it is difficult as a spouse sometimes to then feel like you're not enough. But that was also before we knew all of this. I think it was harder.
Yeah. And conversation.
Yeah, communicating through it.
Yeah. See, before I move on, do you have any questions or anything?
Um, well, you've kind of talked about saying like people don't choose it. It's got a lot of different other things that roll with it,
Hmm.
and kind of a form of coping. Shay
Hmm.
mentioned, and it's really like a part of it was a craving for excitement,
Hmm.
and I think you said acceptance, or Shay said acceptance, and but I'm just wondering, like all those things sound like really normal human things to me. Depression and all that. I mean, I
Hmm.
think those are, so I guess I'm looking for a better for myself. Like, what's the difference between sex addiction and just being a normal human guy who's flips from one thing to another to another to another, looking for fulfillment.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, so I will
Because
explain.
so that would be my question. Be like,
Okay.
what's the difference? Because I'm guessing there is one, but I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, yeah, there is one. The difference is you think about sex 24/7 or some sort of sexual act. A lot of fantasy is there. I've, you know, I've definitely cut out fantasy of my life because it was so destructive because I would just stay up late at night thinking about all these fantasies. And I mean, if anyone knows about fantasies, none of it is as good as it is in your mind, right? So if you end up doing it, it's not that great.
And I think that the difference is just kind of watching Noah and comparing. I know we're not supposed to compare, comparing Noah to normal guys, is there's this need for the next thing. So like the one fantasy is like you need it. It needs to
Hmm.
happen. And
Yeah.
so there's
And
like
that's
this
my full
constant
focus.
thought
Yeah.
of it needing to happen. And that's the same thing with the buying cars. It was like if he was not going to buy that car that he was researching, he was going to die.
Hmm.
And I think that that's like that addiction piece is it takes very normal desires, very normal thoughts,
Hmm.
and puts this like heavy need or I'm going to die feeling on top of it.
Urgency, really.
Yeah, and so I know like recently he was looking at this new phone and he was just researching. We literally went through his phone. He looked at 100 videos in 24 hours.
Hmm.
100. We counted them. And I was like, what is happening? And he was like, I need this phone. It needs to happen. And it was like, it was almost like if you didn't get it, and you even said this, if you didn't get it, you felt like you were gonna die.
Yeah, it was a
That
panic.
there was
Yeah.
there was a, like you were literally going to die if you did not have it.
Yeah.
And I think that that is where that line is drawn, where it takes normal desires and puts this, if I do not get it, if I do not look at porn, if I do not go to fantasy, if I do not go into these, I will die. I will have like when he says that porn for him was survival. It literally was a piece of his brain saying, if I do not look at this, not for pleasure, but just to look at it, I will die if I do not have
Hmm.
this. So I think that that's like that line of kind of taking it over the edge of,
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
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 So it just makes normal desires more intense, I guess, right?
Yeah, because I think if you talk to a normal guy, they'd probably say they think about sex 24/7 too. But
Yeah.
they probably don't say if I don't get it, I'm gonna die. They probably don't say that.
No, they definitely don't say
They
that.
probably just say I wish I did,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not I don't. So
Yeah. And it bleeds.
thanks for making that clear. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. And it bleeds over into other things like money spending and
Hmm.
researching things. It's not just sex, although thinking about sex is 24/7, but it affects. I mean, they're like we've talked,
Hmm.
it's like tentacles into
Every
everything.
part of your
And
life.
then everything becomes, if I don't do that house project, if I don't do this, it's like
Hmm.
an inherent feeling of death.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, even just recently, I think what's been nice for me is just accepting a lot of it
Hmm.
instead of running from it for so long. You're just like, okay, I have this. It's okay. Don't be ashamed. I mean, that shame that comes on anyone who's listening to this that deals with this, the shame is
Hmm.
so brutal. Like, people don't have to rag on us. The
Yeah.
shame that we wear
Hmm.
is so brutal. And honestly, just recently, I mean, this was just in the last week, I was feeling shame and I was like, oh, it just felt like a heavy weight on me. And I was like, I just had this thought, like, am I going to constantly give shame a free ride?
Hmm.
Like just walk around, go to Walmart and stuff, and I got this shame just riding with me,
Your little
It's like,
backpack of shame.
yeah, and it's like, what am I doing? So, in my mind, I kind of and really in life, I turned around to it and faced it and said, I
Hmm.
don't deserve this. I don't want this.
Hmm.
I don't want the shame. And it worked. I
Yeah.
actually felt good like right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. That's weird. I didn't think I could get rid of it that quick, which is so weird, right? You have it on your life for so long, and you really almost feel like you deserve it, right?
Hmm.
Because you're like, yeah, I'm a disgusting person. Or there's something wrong with me. I mean, how many times have I said that? There's something
Yeah.
wrong with me.
Yeah.
And Shay always is like, don't get that out of your vocabulary, get that out of your mind. And I'm trying to because it's like, you're right, there is nothing wrong with me.
Mhm.
I just have this one thing that's just like I don't know what you'd want to call it. A fly that flies around me and it's just constantly just there. Sometimes I can swipe it away.
Hmm.
Sometimes I cannot.
And it's hard when you've had these habits for so long or these thoughts for so long. I mean, having dyslexia as a kid, you felt
Hmm.
defective because everyone else can read
Hmm.
and you can't. Then you're thrown in a special ed room to where you don't even get to socialize with kids,
Hmm.
with
Yeah.
any kids your age. And then,
No.
you have sexual abuse in your childhood. And so then you start thinking, man, I really am defective because then this person used me. And so, you
Hmm.
have these thoughts for so long. Then when you're in your adulthood, you start going, wait a minute, why am I still holding this shame or this pain from childhood that's still affecting me
Hmm.
today? And so that's why, like, every once in a while, he's like, oh, there's just something wrong with me. I'm like, nothing is wrong with you.
Yeah.
But for 45 plus years,
Yeah.
it's been the thought of I'm defective. So then having to like
Yeah. Redo all that.
rechange all of that after so long, it's
Yeah.
hard.
And so, yeah, I'd like to encourage anyone who does have it, like that shame comes on, try turning around to it.
Mm-hmm.
Try facing it. It's scary, trust me. And in your
Mm-hmm.
mind, it's like, no, we need this. We have to have this because it's a punishment,
Yeah.
right? But I don't think we deserve that, honestly.
No.
Steve,
Why
anything else
not?
before I move on?
Yeah, why not? Why don't you deserve it? Like
For me,
there's obviously something wrong with you.
yeah. I think for me, I don't know. Lately, I just feel like I deserve love.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And I don't deserve that feeling. And honestly, I've gone down that road. I have fully gone down the road of shame and depression and all the self-hatred I could possibly do. I've talked about cutting, I've talked about burning, I've talked about avoiding the mirror. It's like I've definitely gone down the self-hatred. There's no life in that. I mean, you can, like Steve, you've talked about where can you ramp that up a little bit more? Can you
Mhm.
ramp that up to 100%? Yes, I have done that.
Mhm.
And then you get to the 100% and you're like, okay, now what? I fully hate myself. Okay, sweet.
Mhm.
So now is there a flip side? Can I ramp it all the way up to can I fully love myself and
Mm.
accept myself and be okay with having little issues or addictions or,
Mhm.
anything like that? Can I actually love those parts of myself too? And that's kind of where I'm heading these days is like, no, I'm going to start loving these parts of me. And
Mm.
now when I mess up, it's like, no, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm actually going to hug myself and say, oh, thank you so much
Mhm.
for bringing me this far.
Mhm.
I love you. Let's keep going. And so to me, there's a lot more life in that. And I'm starting to love myself and I accept I mean, just the acceptance of yourself is just so important to me when you've hated yourself so deeply.
Mhm.
To me, it's just like, this is a great feeling.
Mm.
And then you're like, oh, this is how God's always seen me.
Mhm.
Even when I've fully hated myself, God still fully 100% loved me.
Mhm.
Even when I'm in a complete, like, I gotta buy some vacuum. Just the other day, Shay was like, why is there another vacuum in the cart? And I was like, don't worry about it, just leave it there. Because that's what I've realized. Like, if I just put it somewhere,
Yeah.
it's there. I'm starting to realize around kind of this addiction part of like, I just need the things to be in the cart.
Yeah.
Then I can think about something else. It's kind of funny. I don't really need to buy it, which I wish I could have learned that a long time ago.
Mhm.
Because I've definitely put ourselves in debt a couple times where I'll just spend a bunch of money because I want that excitement. I want that acceptance so badly.
Mhm.
I'll get it from anywhere. And so, it has been, and it's, I mean, anything that I want to buy, I can honestly, it's probably a terrible, I can probably manipulate anyone into convincing them it's a good idea to buy it. Wouldn't you say? Like a car, I would go, hey, we need this car because it's got better seating.
Mhm.
And then I've researched the whole thing. So I know, oh, you're going to get better gas mileage. It's all-wheel drive. You're going to go anywhere, all these weird things. Like,
You used to be, but now that this has all come to light and I now know where it stems from,
yeah,
now I just throw it right back at him.
yeah,
And I'm like, we don't need that. What are you trying to get acceptance from? And then he's
yeah,
like, oh.
yeah,
But in the beginning, oh yeah, it's been a wild ride.
yeah. Yeah. And even the other day, Shay asked me, she's like, what, when you ask me to buy something, she's like, I hate as a spouse to say no to you. Definitely since you're the one who makes the money. I just hate telling you you can't spend your money.
Yeah.
So she goes, what would help, right? What would,
Right, because um when I have to take care of the finances, because I can't even tell him how much money we have because
I don't want
we
to,
have an extra $10.
yeah,
He's like, let's go get an ice cream or something.
yeah,
And
I don't want
so
to know.
being the person, and I guess talking to the spouses out there, because this is not a gender specific issue,
Mm-mm.
talking to the spouses out there that are on the other side, one of the things that can bring guilt to us is feeling like we're constantly having to say no to things that we know aren't good. So like for our finances, I have to take care of all the finances. I like doing it. It's not like I have to. I get to. But if he asks, hey, I'm thinking about buying this vacuum, we literally cannot afford it. It sucks to have to say no all the time. And so when we were talking, I'm like, how do you, as a spouse, like, what would your advice be to spouses on the other side that really don't want to feel like they're nagging all the time, but genuinely need to say no, especially when we know it's because you're going down this road?
Hmm.
And the
Yeah.
biggest thing that we talked about was just having that open communication, which is what has helped us is being able to say, Are you trying to fulfill a need right now, or do you really feel like we need this? Because if you're trying to feel a need of acceptance, well, let's talk through that of where that's coming from and why you're feeling like you're not accepted right now, instead of putting us in debt over a vacuum. Like, let's talk about what we're doing. So I think really just both parties need to be open. And I think if you're in the seat that I have been in, when your spouse comes to you and says something really hard, like, "Hey, I've been researching, I think I have a sex addiction." As a woman, I'll speak to women because I don't know how a man would feel, but we can instantly feel defective, or that our husband's going to leave us, or that they don't love us, or all of these negative things. When the reality is just having that out in the open and giving them that space to just say it and then walk through it with them hand in hand and communicate every single day about it. It takes the nagging out of your voice and gives you both a voice together to work through it together, instead of just a battle of, he has the addiction, he's spending money, well, I don't want to. And it can just turn into this battle between husband and wife, instead of just, okay, we're going to fight this together. We're going to walk through this together. And I feel like you can only do that with communication about it.
Yeah, and for me to just add on to this, because I'm the one with the sex addiction, when I think the first time she communicated, no, I can't spend something, mind you, it wasn't just like, oh, that's okay. When you've when you've accepted that you're going to buy this, like you've done all the research, you're so excited, it's gonna finally happen. And then you go to the person and they say, no, I'm telling you, everything in you goes, who does she think she is? You go down this whole list of like, how dare?
Dare she?
Oh yeah, how dare she? You do get offended.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't trust me with what we're doing, and I've done so much research. Trust me, it's the first like probably 20 or 30 times, okay? It's not like just this, oh, you're
Oh,
right, honey.
thank
It
you.
was because of my addiction. That's why
Yeah. No, it's not always
yeah,
pretty.
it's not always pretty, but it is. I think now when I go to her and say, hey, I want to buy this, it's like I told her the other day, I said, I need you can say no to me. Yes, that's fine. But then you need to give me a reason why.
Hmm.
You can say no, but then I need you to say, because we're still paying off this credit card.
We have college for our child.
Yeah, or yeah, exactly. We got college around the corner. So can you think about that some more that we do need to pay that off? So I think, yeah, I agree. So I think just to kind of give marriages, or if you're in a relationship and you're
Hmm.
dealing with this, just kind of, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time and it takes hurt feelings. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question because I was thinking like I would never do this, but like, do you ever just like not ask and just go buy something?
Oh yeah. I mean, early in our marriage, yeah, absolutely. Because
Ask forgiveness is easier than
yeah,
asking permission.
asking for permission. Yeah. I mean, I think when we were first married, I was like, and this is when she didn't know anything about the addiction. I mean, the sex addiction. She knew I was addicted to porn, but um, didn't know anything else about that. But yeah, we were first married, and I just grabbed the credit card and went and bought a brand new projector and a receiver, all surround sound. I researched everything. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have a theater room, And it was like, I think that was like 3 grand or something.
But he also gets kind of clever sometimes. So, like a year ago, he bought me a new wedding ring, but it's 0% interest. And this
Yeah,
guy loves the 0% interest.
yeah,
So he'll sometimes then buy me something,
yeah, because that's the same
and
excitement.
we're still paying on said wedding ring, and I
Hmm.
do love it. But sometimes it fills that need, that excitement of shopping. But he'll buy something for me, so then it's kind of like, but look, I did this for you. And
Yeah.
then I look at the credit card and I'm like, what is happening? So yes,
Yes.
but
So
sometimes he gets
Shay,
clever. He doesn't.
how do you feel when he buys something for you, or he buys something for me or one of his other friends?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you've been on the receiving end of this.
yes, yes, it has.
Uh, I think it just kind of depends. Like when things are so tight and he does something like that, I just am like, I feel pushed aside sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to get us ahead. Like I'm trying to maybe make it to where things are a little bit easier financially or something. But then it's hard because he likes to give. He has like this and he always has his whole life of like he always wants to make sure that everyone feels loved and seen. So it's this hard line between I want you to still gift people things because he genuinely does love giving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like does everybody need $1,000 TV or something.
Yeah. It's
Some,
something super expensive.
especially
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
Christmas. So, for instance, Christmas time, I have our budget for Christmas. It's like literally itemized of how each person has. And then I know that Noah hasn't gotten into his gift giving until, 2 days before Christmas, as every man does. So I always set aside now a little extra for Noah's giving to kind of feed that piece of him, but to where it's almost like within some sort of boundaries. It's almost like when your kids are little and you give them three outfit choices and they feel like they're in control, but really you've picked out the three outfits. And so I tend to do that with Noah, where I'm like, here's some money. You can do whatever you want with it. That gives him that excitement, but then it's
Mm-hmm.
within budget. So there have been kind of some ways that we've had to like get creative because we have tried cutting everything out. Like we have tried being like, okay, everything
Mm-hmm.
that points to this is a need for acceptance because of this sex addiction. We're cutting all of that out because it's all sin. God wouldn't want any of this, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you start shaming yourself.
Churching it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
churching it up a little bit where it's like we're going to cut everything that points to this out. Well, then he's like a shaken Coke bottle. It's just you can feel the pressure rising and rising and rising. And before you know it, he's just going to explode. And so now we've kind of learned to really communicate through and go, okay, I can feel you ramping up. What do you need? How can we kind of fulfill this? Because I think that that's the uh, the thought around addiction is like don't ever do anything. If you stop looking at it, it'll go away,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't true. And so we've had to kind of get creative with how do we still create that excitement and create that need for things or that acceptance, but within boundaries.
I
Mm-hmm.
really like the idea of putting it in your Amazon shopping cart,
Mm-hmm.
and you get the same buzz for putting it in the cart,
Yep.
and you probably get the same letdown when you
Mm-hmm.
hit the delete button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But you can
absolutely.
put it in your shopping cart and delete it 1,000 times, and it doesn't crash your bank account,
Yeah.
and
No, I know.
your kids can still go to school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And people
You
can
can
eat.
still,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can still eat. But so I like that. That's really creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just recently figured that out. Like,
Hmm.
oh, if I just throw it in there, like I have one on Amazon, I have one on Best Buy, I have one on other websites, just so it's there.
Yeah.
I've done the research, now it's there. Okay, it's there, Noah. We're good.
But then I have to ask, like, are you planning on it? Because as we most everyone knows, Best Buy has a great 0% program. So I'm
Yeah.
always like, please don't buy anything unless we talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to clarify because I get nervous, right? After years of watching him research buy.
Mm-hmm.
I now have to retrain my brain and go, I've seen you research it. Every time I look over, you are researching something. Are you planning on buying it?
Mm-hmm.
Because to your point, Steve, there were a lot of years that he would just put on a credit card and then all of a sudden I get the bill and I'm like, why do we owe $1,000 to
Mm-hmm.
this credit card? And it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
because I bought something.
Yeah, because I was in
So
hiding there.
right, because it was in hiding. So now it's more like, are you just putting it in the cart? Are you having fun researching? Because he does need to, just like that creativity, he needs to research it because it is part of that addiction. That needs to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But then can we not take it so far as purchasing? So,
Yeah. Yeah, so there's little things, and like Shay told me, I think it was yesterday actually, because this has been on my mind for a while because I've been nervous about talking about it. But you know, there's a flip side of sex addiction too. There's people that act out. When
Hmm.
you act out, they call that acting out. So that means you're going to a place, you're going to prostitutes, you're going to places where
You're
it's
stepping out in some way.
yeah, stepping out, strip clubs, whatever is like another human is involved, right? So,
Hmm.
um, Shay was like, I think the only reason that you have never done that go ahead, you can probably say that.
Yeah, I just was like, because his addiction can be so strong and it can really pull at him. But the other flip side is Noah is the most loyal person you'll ever meet in his friendships, in his relationships. He's loyal to a fault. And I truly believe that the only reason why he has not stepped out or
Mm-hmm.
done those things is because he is so loyal. But I also don't want to bring shame to people who have stepped out
Mm-hmm.
and done and allowed their addiction to pull them in that way.
Hmm.
Um, I just want to clarify for our scenario that that has been something that, because I know people are probably going to wonder, like, oh, he cheated.
Yeah. And we'll
Oh,
just
he
be
did
honest
it.
with you right now. No, I haven't.
No. I think that that's that fear, though, of when people hear this. I know for a while we've been talking about doing this podcast, and it's like when people hear, oh, a sex addiction, he's done the worst of the worst. But I think there are a lot of men, as you've found out talking to them,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many men who actually are dealing with the same thing, and it does come out as overspending, and it does come out as looking at porn or fantasizing, and they're still amazing, faithful husbands and dads, and it doesn't affect any of their roles, but
Hmm.
it does affect their brain. And so I think that there's just so many different sides to this coin, but I just didn't want people to go to the worst because I'm protective.
Yeah, and I think like at the beginning of our marriage, definitely I was probably doing stuff that because then you're still running from it. I was keeping it so hidden in the dark where it owned me a lot more. So, there's, people I would text or something
Hmm.
or email. Shay found out a couple times I emailed someone on Craigslist.
That was before when you could find people on Craigslist.
I know, yeah,
That
that
was a
was,
long time
yeah,
ago.
it was. And that even scared
Can't
me.
do that
It
anymore.
even scared me when I did it because I was like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? That's the part of the addiction that scares you is you do something. And I've talked to other people about it. It's like you all of a sudden are heading in that direction, and all of a sudden you're like you
It's
come
like you wake
to,
up from a dream.
yeah, you come to, and you're like, why am I here? It's
Hmm.
so weird. It's like so weird how much you've. I don't know. I guess the addiction probably just starts making a rut in your mind, right? So you just go to that one thing over and
Hmm.
over again. So it is, and I guess I would, whoever, if you're acting out, I guess I would encourage you to find a therapist that deals with sex addiction and can help you with that kind of stuff. Because I think there is a way to live a happy life with it. Because at
Hmm.
least I know you can't get rid of it.
Hmm.
And all those people that are listening and saying, just turn to Jesus, invite Jesus into it. I've done all that. Doesn't go away.
And he is with you in it.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
how do
thing
I
that
invite him
is
in when he's with me? Yeah.
yeah, he is. And you have learned so much in all of this with Jesus by your side because if he's in everything, he's in everything. And so I know a lot of Christians have you just prayed about it?
Yeah.
Every time you want to, have you just prayed about it? And God will take it from you. I wish that God was a magical genie that would just take things the second we prayed
Yeah.
because we would all we would all be in different places if God was like that. But the cool thing is we get to bring God on this journey with us. And it has been great. We've learned a lot about each other and we've learned a lot about the love of God because we, I mean, we all screw up so many times and
Hmm.
he's still there and he still loves Noah, even though Noah might be fantasizing more than he could be. If you prayed as much as you fantasized, then
Hmm.
Jesus would heal you.
I've had that guilt before for sure.
Yeah, and it's
That would be a like a very Christian fantasy.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
That
exactly.
Yes,
that is
absolutely.
a definite fantasy.
Yes, and so
We're
I
just a
mean,
different kind.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you bring Jesus with you in all
So
of
Noah, you mentioned if somebody's acting out, they might see a therapist, but also you're part of a support group, aren't you?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. There are a lot of support groups out there too.
is that helpful?
I think it was because I think it was the start of like understanding I'm not alone.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because for so long you just think I'm the only one who has this for whatever reason. You just think that, like no one's else been sexually abused or has a concussion as a kid.
Or
All
deals
the,
with
deals with
addiction.
addiction or anything like that, which is, I don't know why your
Crazy.
brain does that, but you think you're the only one. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you go to a support team group and it took us a little bit time to like open up with each other. But then
Mhm.
once you open up with each other, it's like you hear someone talking and you're like, you honestly feel like that you're talking to yourself right now.
Mhm.
really.
You're like, oh my goodness, that is exactly how I feel.
Hmm.
That you're going and you've had the exact same thoughts and say,
Mhm.
it's like it is so wild to me. And I think, yeah, I think it's very important. I know some people go to, what is it, a
Sex addiction.
sex addiction class, like a, what is it,
SA.
essay. Yeah, there we go. And I've heard people
SA.
get, they like that as well. And yet again, all these people, I've never heard anyone being healed from it.
Mhm.
You still have it, and I think I guess that would probably be the lie, or maybe the hope from the spouse is if I pray harder, if I please God more, if I
Mhm.
do X, Y, and Z, will he or she get better? And
Mhm.
it's just not true. I think for me, I can't even say getting better, but I think for me to live life with it and accept myself with it and love myself through it is communication. Bringing it back out to the light. Sometimes I don't want to tell Shay that I'm having a hard day,
Mhm.
because it's like in my mind, I still keep it as my little precious. It's all mine. I don't want to share it with you, or I don't want to burden you,
Mhm.
or I don't want to make you sad or think I'm, wanting something else.
Mhm.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to hurt Shay.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt Shay.
Mhm.
Exactly. And so you do keep it in more. I've done all that, everybody. And I'm sure anyone who's listening has done the same thing. And we all
Mhm.
know it does not come out well.
Mhm.
All it does is you end up thinking about suicide more or way more depressed or like if I was just gone, how many times have I thought if I just wasn't here, everyone would be happier?
Mhm.
I'm such a burden. No, you're not.
Mhm.
And it also pushes Shay away if you're not willing to share that with her. It's like
Yeah.
putting up a wall, build a wall between you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And she would feel isolated and alone and maybe suspicious, wondering like what's the next thing you're going to do or
Yeah.
Yeah,
and not,
we
but you sharing your heart with her and communicating is tremendous. It's awesome. You guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, for the longest time, I couldn't even fully trust him because what road was he going to lead me down?
Hmm.
And then it's that lie of, oh, but he's the man of the house, so he should lead, and I need to like not have control over finances and things because he's the man, and so men should lead their household. But then when you have a husband that might lead you down a road that you don't want to be down, then what do you do? And so there's this whole lie of, you know, of not trusting him too, which I
Hmm.
guess isn't a lie, but it took a long time for me. Once he really started bringing this out and we started communicating through it, it allowed me to even trust him more. I didn't even realize that in so many years I hadn't trusted him fully because I didn't feel like I could.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And so, as we've spent the last few years really working through this and talking about it, it was something in me too that I'd realized I had walls up that I didn't even know were there because
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like I could trust him.
Yeah, and that being said too, I think during all like when it gets really heavy and stuff, I know I've heard it from Shay a couple times, like I don't even know who I could go to talk about this.
Yeah,
Because in the Christian world, it is kind of
you can't
no,
talk
it
about
is
this.
it is scary.
Hmm.
That's why I think I've been so scared to talk about it because you're just so terrified of that rejection or what's wrong with you. And it's
Hmm.
like, all right, I've already said all that stuff to myself. I've already tried to work it all out. But for you, I feel bad for you a lot of times because it's like who do you go to?
Hmm.
And I think anyone who's listening to this, like to encourage you, if you do are going through this, I mean, if you are a woman going through this and your man has the sex addiction, I think you should reach out to Shay,
Yeah,
honestly, because I think you guys could really talk it out and
yeah.
kind of have each other. I think that's what we're supposed to do, isn't it, as Christians?
Yeah, and I think the hard part too is, I haven't really told a lot of people because the very few people I've told, they give you that Christian answer of have you prayed for him? Have you have what, God's gonna heal him if you X, Y, and Z. There are these
Have more faith.
where you just want someone to sit with you and you don't need pity and you don't need answers, just to sit with people just like your group, right? You
Mm-hmm.
guys aren't solving the world.
Mm-mm.
You're not making plans. You're not making little packs. I mean, I remember in middle school youth group, all the guys had rubber bands around their wrists. So if they thought about sex, they would like
Yeah.
start hurting themselves with their
Yeah.
rubber band.
Uh-huh.
So then you're sitting there and in church and all you hear is snapping of rubber bands and you're like, what is happening? Like you guys aren't making a pact like that. You're just sitting in a room with other people that make you feel like you're not alone.
Yeah.
And I
And
feel
love
like
each
we
other.
forget in the Christian world, regardless of what is going on, that sometimes we just want to sit with each other and just be together and not have answers. We don't need advice. I know, Steve, especially when you first got diagnosed with cancer, I mean, people were constantly like, here's what you need to do, Steve. Have you prayed harder? Have you done this? Here's this doctor and this research thing. And sometimes you just want people to sit with you and go, how you doing?
Yeah. Can you cry with me?
Yeah.
That's
I feel
all.
like we forget that as Christians. We don't even need to constantly remind you that you have a big God or that Jesus is with you, or sometimes we know that. Sometimes we just need to sit with other people and just feel not alone.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's maybe what we want and need the most.
Yeah.
And to be heard and to
Yeah.
be heard.
To be
You know,
heard. Yeah. Exactly. Just
The
sit in it.
Lord's really good at listening.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think he's I think what how you described our relationship with one another, Shay, is really how I view our relationship with God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That He's there with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's not usually telling me what to do or not to do.
Hmm.
He's just with me and present with me,
Hmm.
and everywhere I go and wherever whoever I'm with, He's with me, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a huge comfort to be to be in his presence. And so I think that we can do that for one another, especially when we're talking about sex addiction or
Mm-hmm.
living with somebody who's going through that,
Hmm.
or you know hoarding.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like my neighbors around here, a lot of them are, I think, are hoarders. They've got like, well, some guys got like RVs, like running out the
Mm-hmm.
yard. Uh, and so I think there's just lots of, I heard somebody the other day say, like, if you learn to how to can listen to hurting people, you'll never be out of a job.
Yeah.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really true, that
So true. Yeah.
we're all hurting, from time to time, and sometimes more than others. And there's nothing I would like more than just to be with you guys in the midst of our normal
Hmm.
ups and downs and hurts and
Mm-hmm.
joys and laughter, and to be able to laugh while we're crying. And
Yeah.
I I think that's lovely. I'm a little bit conscious of the time. I,
Yeah, we're gonna do a second podcast
Yeah.
on what God allowed to happen
Through all of
through
this.
all of this. So
Yeah.
this will be the second part. I really wanted to make sure, I didn't know if I could do both, but I really wanted to make sure that anyone who is going through sex addiction is just not alone.
Yeah.
And to your point, Steve, God walks with me in sex addiction.
Mm-hmm.
That is so nice to know that.
Yeah.
And I've invited him in a million times. I mean, even though I don't have to, I don't have to. I think just as humans, we feel like we have to say it. You know, I have to say I'm invited him in, even though he's in. He's already in, but I could recognize he's there.
yeah,
Like, God, you're here with me, walking with me.
Well, not
And
only
thank
that,
you.
he's loving you through it.
Yes,
He's not just
exactly.
walking next to you,
Yeah,
he's loving you
yeah,
regardless of where you're at.
yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Um,
makes
I,
sense to me.
I
right.
know. Well, I mean, when you're messing up all the time, you're like, I can't believe that you love me this much. But
Yeah,
thank you for that.
maybe, I think maybe our idea of messing up and his are maybe two different things.
I think they are. I definitely think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that he's not as worried about us messing up as what, or even calling it messing up
yeah,
as we are sometimes,
Yeah.
probably
yeah.
most times.
Most times, yeah, I would agree.
So as we wrap this up,
Hmm.
if you are struggling with sex addiction and need to know that you're not alone, I would highly suggest emailing Noah.
Or you.
Right. Well,
Well, I
but
guess if you're on the other side, yeah.
yeah. And what's your email? Noah at Abiding Life.
Noah@abidinglife.com.
And then if you just need support because you feel alone being on the other side, my email is always open, but I don't know what it is. Is it just Shay at abidinglife.com?
Yep.
I'm always like, is it Shay Wells? Is it
No, it's just Shay.
Shay, Shay,
Yeah.
at abidinglife.com? My email is always open. And I think our biggest conclusion with all of this is you are never alone. And I think sometimes in the Christian world, we isolate ourselves because the thought of not being perfect is scary. And that's
Hmm.
what we strive to be. But we are very real, honest people. And our inbox is always open for you to come to us with, you know,
Anything.
with anything and to know that you'll just be loved and have open arms. So,
Yeah, and if like just to add on to you, if any couple needs to come to us as well, if you're
yeah, we're here for you
we're
guys.
here for you guys. Yeah, and it is I wanted to add this too is, I feel like I was telling Shay, I was like, people with sex addiction, I bet they feel really alone.
Mhm.
There's so, I'm sure there's not a ton of us, but there's probably a lot of sex abuse. So, but it said I was reading another thing in it and said out of every tenth man that has sex addiction, there's one woman that has
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
So it's not as common, but it is there. So I mean,
Mhm.
any woman who's like listening to this too, it's like I can only imagine
Mhm.
how alone
How
you have felt.
isolating it
Yeah, because who
is.
do you talk to? If that is that small of a percentage
Get in my
that has it,
inbox.
yeah, get in Shay's inbox.
I will love you through it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
So, but yeah, thank you, Steve,
Thank you
bringing the
guys.
heart of this.
thanks,
Thanks for
Steve.
sharing your hearts, your big and loving hearts, and how you walk in with God.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it is amazing that you can walk with God with anything,
Yep.
absolutely anything. And he just walks right alongside you. Doesn't go in front of you, doesn't go above you,
It's just right next to
doesn't go behind me, kicking me in the back. No, he goes right next to me.
you.
It's pretty awesome.
It is
God we
awesome.
have. So love you
Yep.
guys.
Love you guys.
Love
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, thanks to the listeners. And the next podcast will be
A
what
big old
God?
story.
A big old story. Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye.